How you doing? Thanks for joining me. I thought we would read this. It's Venger's Guide to Mastering Chaos at the Table, run tabletop role-playing games with confidence by Scott C. Docherty, which is me. So let's get into it. Introduction. I'll probably do the preface another time, so thanks so much for picking up this little guide. All being well, this is going to help you become more confident mastering chaos at the table, to help you get comfortable improvising and with not knowing what's going to happen during each session, with effortlessly designing and presenting encounters that will leave your players drooling for more each and every time you play. All this no matter whether you're running a fantasy or futuristic tabletop role-playing game. Before we begin, a little about me, if you will. So I began role-playing as player and dungeon or game master in the 1980s, carving out an endless myriad of intricately woven tales in a dark, musty corner of the school playground, or inside rain-battered camping tents, or huddling in friends' dusty attics, before moving up to fancier dinner tables and screens. Here were my first steps into the multiverse. Choose Your Own Adventure books, fighting fantasy books, bloodsword books, D&D, BX and Beckney sets, so Moldvase then Mencers, advanced D&D, mainly the second edition, and also whiled away countless hours with the likes of Star Trek, the role-playing game, Warhammer FRP, fantasy role-playing, Call of Cthulhu, Middle-earth role-playing, Hero Quest, Star Wars, the role-playing game, amongst many, many others. Beyond that, in my local role-playing club, I helped playtest the first outstanding dystopian edition of Slay Industries, released by Nightfall Games. And I'm always looking to bore the pants off anyone idiotic enough to listen to me about just how groundbreaking that game was. Check out the second edition. So I now play in the main D&D and Star Wars FFG, running long-term games every week in Glasgow, Scotland. But also pop in and out of so many games beyond those, from one-shots to mini-campaigns, inspired by the sheer myriad of choice there now is in this amazing tabletop role-playing game space. And yeah, I also try to run Venger's decks when I get the chance. But this guide ain't about me. Share this backstory not as a means to say that, having been around the block a bit, my knowledge and experience counts more than yours, or than anyone else's. In short, I've done so just to kick things off and lay out the idea that I'm right there with you in the trenches, that in my time here in the mud and the mire, I've spotted a few things on the horizon and plan to relay them to you, leaving it to you and you alone to mull over, chuck in the trash, or action as you go forward. So I don't know why you've picked this up. Maybe you're looking for inspiration in your fantasy or futuristic game. A few words to help you inject more juice into your sessions. Maybe you're lacking confidence in improv, or that the hex crawls, dungeon delves, scenarios and encounters you're laying out for your players are catching fire like you'd hoped. Or maybe you're thinking of running a game for the first time and, having poured through the rules, need a point in the right direction. Or maybe you're a seasoned master, scouring for refinement. Whatever the reason, you're here now, and I can't thank you enough for that. So let's have some fun and talk about what you'll get from these pages. 2 seconds of a coffee though. First up, here's what this guide definitely isn't. After you've read through this guide, you're not going to be the greatest dungeon or game master on the planet, if there even is such a thing. You're not going to know everything about the game you're running. If your players look back at you yearning for drama and conflict and unparalleled storytelling to fire out your mouth, in the moment despite reading this, you might continue to look back at them, as would a dog who's just been shown a card trick, with no clue whatsoever where to take the session next. More crucially though, this guide holds nowhere near a monopoly of wisdom on mastering chaos at the table, at designing and running random encounters, or indeed any kind of encounter or scenario in your game. I may have roleplayed for years and yonks, but I'd be the very first to say that I'm still learning, that I'm still seeing ideas and approaches and tips absolutely everywhere and thinking, right, I'm stealing that. No matter how weighted in gravitas the experts you've been following up to this point may seem, no matter how much more than you it appears they know, the beauty of the game that you're running is that you are running it. You might not get the importance of this yet, but as time goes on, you'll come to understand that while it's always a great idea to try and learn off others, to try your best to improve, no matter the extent of your mastery of rules, no matter how talented at improvisation you may be, no matter your level of confidence, no matter for your wish for your game to be as good as someone else's, your table is your table, and that's the end of it. Once everyone sits down at your table, whether it's online or offline, the multiverse exists now only in that space. Forget all else. It bears no relevance to books, guides, influencers, critics, or anyone or anything outside that space. Instead, within that space, you and your players are in charge. It's up to you and your players alone to work collectively in spinning together the twists and twirls of the story each of you wants to tell, in whatever style and flow and level of seriousness you're all happy with. It's just a game, right? Read this guide, yeah, but it's only the beginning of the story, or at least an extension of what I hope you've picked up already in your game materials, the rule books and guidebooks for your game. So take whatever you like from it and move the hell on. Blend it together with all the other mountains of resources out there you'll pick your way through, and in the end, find your own way, your own path to enjoyment in the game. That's nice. So in the pages to come, hopefully you'll find some inspirational words to add spice to the encounters you lay out for your players, random or otherwise. We're going to be talking a fair bit about random encounters, about why they're absolutely instrumental to tapping into and mastering chaos at the table. Chaos that runs through the very heart of the games that you play. You'll find a tried and tested approach that I've ironed out for decades, an approach which breaks down every single encounter or scenario you throw at the players into easy to follow steps, no matter the type of tabletop role-playing game you're enjoying. Steps you can either flesh out on the fly at the table, or plan out more carefully ahead of schedule. If you picked up any of my card decks, maps or packs, in this guide you'll find some meat to put in their bones, some tips to make the most of them in your game, together with the bare bones cheat sheet I've fleshed out for years to build encounters and random scenarios. What is it with all this fleshing out of bones already? Okay, fair enough. I'll try and find some better idioms for the rest of this. Meantime, you can feel free to print off plentiful copies of the cheat sheet and its 2 attached battle grids that you should pick up in the digital file that came with the book, so you can use them again and again to break down your encounters and think through stuff like placement and terrain. I'll refer to the sheet a little later on so that, again, you can get the most out of it. And finally, I've added into this edition a whack of encounters and scenarios you can use in your games. Some of them fantasy, some of them futuristic, but each one of them broken down into those easy to follow steps, as well as 100 battle maps and The Party, a fantasy one-shot you can play at any time with your players, and which will help you bring together what you pick up in this guide. A session packed with pure chaos, but the tools you need to cook it with confidence. Although you might be reading this as someone who tends to play in more futuristic games, if you read through The Party, it should hopefully give you some inspiration how to run your own random one-shot beyond the fantasy multiverse. By the end of this guide, therefore, I'd like you to appreciate a bit more of why chaos is vital in separating your tabletop role-playing game from playing a PC or console game, or from reading a book or watching a movie. I'd like you to take that appreciation and learn how to get comfortable with it. How to go into your game sessions with a calm confidence that you've got absolutely no idea about what's to happen, but that, hey, that's 100% how it should be. Important note time. One thing I want to make clear before you move on is that this little guide, well, it ain't so little. Before you get to the step-by-step stuff later on, the guide will first lead you by the hand through a delve into the theory behind randomness, behind the embracement of chaos in your game. The reason I've done this is to encourage a richer understanding that'll make it way more easy for you to actually make something out of the techniques that I lay out. If that ain't your bag, therefore, and you just want to skip right in, go hog wild and skip what you feel isn't necessary. It's your book now. So thanks once again for spending some time with this guide. I hope it helps whatever aims you have in your game sessions to come. Don't sweat all this stuff. Enjoy the game. Communicate with your players as best you can. And I wish you every success in finding or refining your own style. So we'll continue with the basics next time. Thanks for watching, listening, and sharing, and liking, and what have you. And if you want to pick up the book, it's on Amazon or vengersdecks.com, and hopefully soon in various stores here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, we'll see you next time.